Hey guys, I want to talk about an icon amongst American knives, the TL-29, also known as the electrician's knife, also known as a linesman's knife. These things have been around since World War I. They've changed shape a little bit over the time, but they've really gained popularity around World War II and straight on through the 70s and 80s, where they did get lost, kind of in the modern knife revolution, where everything had to have pocket clips and synthetic parts and all that jazz. So I wanted to show these things because these are just amazing, amazing knives, even by today's standards. And they're really overlooked, and you can get these things for dirt cheap. You're going to find these things even on eBay. I just bought 2 more of these today on eBay, and I paid, I think, $12 for the 2 of them, so about $6 a piece. And what makes these things so fantastic, of course, is that these things have a carbon steel blade, which was pretty common for back in the old day. They had either wooden or synthetic handles, and they had a brass liner lock for the screwdriver, and they have a little bail on them for attaching to your keys or your belt or whatever it is you want to do with these things. And the other blade, of course, is the screwdriver end, which is a straight slotted thing, and then the screwdriver is also a little sharp on the bottom, so I guess you can use that for stripping wires and whatnot, or maybe even just doing some scraping or whatever it is you might need to do. So, like I said, it's got a nice kind of brass liner lock to it, and these were made by many, many companies. I think in the neighborhood between like 10 and 20 companies were making these at the height of their popularity. Camillus, of course, is the most well-known of them. I know, I think PAL made them, Utica Cutlery made them, Schrade made some, Case made some. All the big manufacturers made these back in the day, especially for the wartime, for the war effort. Just millions and millions of these in circulation. They're really cheap, really easy to get a hold of. And the thing that makes these things awesome, guys, a little known factoid, is that the steel Camillus used for these is actually very, very close to O1 tool steel. You're going to say, what? Well, O1 tool steel is kind of like a 1095 on steroids. It's a very high carbon steel, a 1095 base steel, but it has some extra of the other elements added into it that give it better wear resistance and all that. So these things are really fantastic. And if you're doubting me on the steel, that's the steel that Blind Horse Knives use, or Battle Horse, whatever they call themselves now. That's the steel that they use for their high-end knives. A lot of high-end makers use O1 tool steel. Camillus was doing this back 50 years ago. Why? Because, of course, back then we believed in building awesome things. So I wanted to point that out because you're also going to run into stainless steel models of these, and the easiest way to tell the difference, of course, is that your carbon steel will have a patina, whereas your stainless steel will not. So when you get these, open the blade, if they have a good patina, odds are you got a good carbon steel model. Of course, check the main blade for your stamp. Usually they're always going to be marked Camillus down here. And you can check the age based on the stamp. But these things were just fantastic back in the day. They were awesome little carving knives. They were in everybody's pockets. They just were fantastic. These things, and this is hard wood right here, guys. Now this thing is sucks. Yeah, they don't have a lock on them. There's no lock on the blade. There's nothing like that. But these things weren't meant to be tactical knives that you stab things to. These are meant to be work knives. They're meant to be something you use on a job site. Carefully, cautiously, not something you messed around with. But yeah, these things hold a terrific edge. They keep the edge a long time. And man, I tell you, you play with these things, you will not want to go back to modern knives. The full flat grind blades, they take really, really super sharp edges. They're so easy to sharpen. This O1, guys, is so nice to sharpen, so easy to sharpen. These things, they're not meant for heavy duty. These are relatively thin blades. These are, the knives of our grandparents. But man, Do they just work? Do they just carve and carve without putting any effort into them? I just love these knives. So there they are, guys. These things are just an absolute legend. I mean, they're absolute legends. They've been around for damn near 100 years now. As I said, you know, they've just been around forever. They hold, you know, even these old ones. You pick these things up, they're 50 years old. Oh, that one's needs a little work. You know, these things, you can sharpen them up in 5 minutes with very, very simple sharpening stones, and you can have an absolutely fantastic knife to add to your collection. It's super high quality.